means. Now, your textbook talks about different ways of expressing concentration. And here's where it's ridiculously simple, but because you're not used to seeing it, the words throw you. Okay? The ultimate here is that concentration is equal to grams of solute over liters of final solution. It can also be expressed when you have a solid in a solid. So let's say you have like a powdered toxin in a container of earth. The earth is considered a solid. The toxin is also considered a solid, right? So you can also have concentration expressed as percent mass over mass volume. I'm going to get into examples of this. You can also have percent mass over a liquid volume, which is kind of what we just calculated. That's like putting juice crystals in water. Or you can have a percent volume over volume. Anytime you see the percentage, okay, what does that percent make you think it's out of? Makes you think it's out of 100, right? Every time you get a test back, you get a fraction. How do you figure out what your mark is? You divide the numerator by the denominator and multiply it by 100. You get your percentage, right? Well, these three right here, exactly that. If I say that I've got a 5% mass over mass solution, what I'm actually saying is that I've got 5 grams in 100 grams of solid. If I've got a percent mass over volume, I'm saying that I've got 5 grams. I'm just using 5% here as an example. 5% is 5 grams in 100 milliliters. Percentage volume over volume. A really good example of that is isopropyl alcohol. Rubbing alcohol. How many of you have rubbing alcohol at home? Like especially if you had your ears pierced, you want to disinfect something, little tools, you might have the little alcoholic swabs that you can clean stuff. Okay. That is called 70% isopropyl alcohol, which means that in a solution, if you see V over V here, it's a liquid in a liquid. The solute can be a liquid. And in the case of isopropyl alcohol, what they're saying is, well, it's 70%, so that means it's going to be 70 milliliters in 100 milliliters. What do you think the other 30 milliliters are going to be? Pure water. So it's 70 to make 70% isopropyl alcohol. What the company does is they take, in every 100 milliliters they make, 70 milliliters is alcohol and the other 30 is water, pure water. Mix it together. So they're diluting it a little. It's a little less than 100% pure. So when you see these percentages, it's just a different way of expressing concentration. Okay? You will see this next year for sure. So I just want to introduce it to you now. It's just a different way of talking about the amount of solute in the final volume of your solution. Okay? So the question is, why in this case, if we know that concentration is grams per liter, and that's what I'm trying to pound into your head, you're like grams per liter, why are these percentages here given in 100s and milliliters and grams as opposed to liters? It all comes back to the fact that you have this percentage right here. Percents are out of 100. How can you take 70 milliliters over 100 milliliters and put that into liters? Okay, how many times does 100 milliliters go into a liter? 10, right? There's 10 100s in 1,000, correct? So if I wanted to write this Okay, if I wanted to write this as grams per liter, this would be 70 milliliters in 0.1 liter, right? It's the same thing. It's just a different way of writing it. But the thing you've got to remember here, the trick, is that as soon as you see the percentage, the final amount here is always going to be 100 milliliters. Okay?